Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and welcome back to another episode of our Painting Together. Now, last week you guys chose to do a wonderful little dry riverbed, so that's what we're going to put in today. And of course, if you're enjoying these, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more painting videos. Let's get started. Now, as you can see, I spent just a couple seconds throwing in a very basic sketch, and that just keeps me on track. And right over here, I'm going to pick up just a little bit of our yellow and touch of red and a little bit of white and brown. All these beautiful colors sort of mixed loosely on the brush. I don't really care about over mixing the paint because there's a lot of variation we want in here. Now, one thing I did, I changed the sketch just the tiniest bit in that what I did was I split it here, and we're going to do some sort of a little sandy bar thing right there. And the only reason I do that, just to add interest, because otherwise just the plain snaking little riverbed wouldn't be quite as great as one that sort of splits. So that's the only reason I did it, just to add a little interest to the scene. Okay, now it's super dark in here, and we'll kind of figure out what to do with how bright we want it. We'll figure out what to do with that later. Kind of not so worried about that right now. This canvas is dry, as you recall. So this is very much like an acrylic painting. This is a wet over dry technique, which is not something we normally do at all, but in these paintings that we do together, we have to, because we do them over such a long period of time. All right. Now, I think we're going to get far enough today, I hope so, that we actually don't have any voting at the end of this episode. Instead, what we'll do next week is a special highlight episode. I think that'll be great. I know you guys love those special highlight episodes, so I think it's about time to do one. We'll really get this area detailed out and highlighted during that time. I'm just going to kind of structure the painting, get it real close, and then we'll come back and highlight it next time. Okay, and of course my palette's kind of dirty. You can see we're doing a winter scene over here. We'll sort of jump over to our summer scene on the left-hand side of the palette. There. And I'm just going to start with this little detail round and just begin dropping in what's going to feel like kind of the edge of the sand. Well, this is kind of like hard sand, you know, the sand that hasn't been washed away on the edges of the bank. And it drops off. So what you want to do is you want to imagine this light, which we'll punch up in the highlight episode. You want to imagine this filtering through. And so you just touch it here and there. You don't do a whole lot. Oh, that is just so pretty. I'm going to work here on a couple of shadow areas, especially up here on this. Look, this is kind of like a little ridge of sand. I want extra shadows. This will indicate little rocks and just areas where it's going up and down. This color here is just a little brown, touch of red, and then our yellows that were sort of left around right here. And that makes a pretty shadow color. Obviously, you don't want to go black, because if you go black, you'll make the viewer think it's way too close, and I don't want you guys losing your depth. Got to have the depth in there for it to look good, so don't go anything too dark yet. Don't worry, there's going to be plenty of time for, you know, the dark blacks over here in the foreground. That's a small foreground, isn't it? That's pretty cool. See, you just have to play around with the light, think about the light, where would it hit, and how it would react to the different little things that are going on. Good. All right, I'm liking this. This is super cool. There's some light. Just do a touch of light. Nice, and then we'll sculpt. We'll probably get a bigger brush out here and sculpt some of the sand on the top. So far, this is looking good. Maybe a little, watch this, a little bit of white here and a little bit of yellow. White and yellow don't get green. If the blue touches it, you would get green. There. This is a little preview of next week. Wow. Now, I've talked about this many times before in the past, but if you're watching this video and you know the voting's long over and the painting's done, watch all the episodes in order, because it gives you an amazing idea of how paintings are created, and it will help you create your own paintings. You will be surprised how amazing it is to, you know, watch how a painting develops and how we kind of choose to do things and why we do things, and it's all good stuff. Plus, you get to see a painting, which is fun. There. And I do my best. I don't always do it, but I do my best to kind of keep them in playlists for you too. So, kind of makes it easy to get to them. All right, now I'm developing a little bit of the light here. This just helps to kind of get us set up. This isn't the brightest highlight, but it certainly would qualify. Oops, got a little too far over. We'll probably throw a cast shadow over this whole thing. Maybe in the highlight episode, maybe in a different episode. But don't worry, we'll play with the shadows. There, I'm going to change the colors to a lot of rusty reds and just beautiful things. Good. There's the top. See, you can just do this dry brush scrubbing like this. This is great. Now I'm going to mix together some blue and red to obviously get us a purple color. Mix that right up here. Maybe a little more red. I do want it to kind of to the red side because just because of what we're doing with it, right? Okay, there we go. There's our purple. Now, we're going to just toss a little bit of this purple right in here, just to create a bit of a shadow here and there. Not a ton of shadows, but it does help us to, to feel like we've got a little cool light in here. And that works really well. The purple works so good in this scene. Okay, that makes it nice. Now I can't figure out, without brightening this area, where my hard cast shadow is going to be. So I'm not going to worry about it. We'll do that next time. But just remember, we're going to be doing more work in this area. This area is looking pretty good. Obviously, we'll be doing more work, but it's closer as far as the lighting is concerned. Oh, lighting can be tough sometimes, can't it? But just kind of try to relax and work your mind around it, and it's not so bad. There. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of brown and black and red on the filbert real quick. And I think I was looking at the painting. I think probably right now is the best time to just underpaint this little cliff. There. Only reason I want to do it now, we're probably not going to get to it in the highlight episode. But the only reason I wanted to do it now is I was just tired of looking at that blank piece of canvas there. I bet you were too. So you'll notice that, well, it's just good to get the canvas covered. You'll notice that it helps. I won't even worry about having a clean edge. It really doesn't make any difference. I just got to have a dark down there so that my colors read properly, especially when we go into the next week. Now I'm just going to run my filbert brush right through some of our little orange colors. I really don't care what it is at this point. And I'm just going to put a top right out on this stone. Wasn't even planning to do this. This is just a spur of the moment and quick thing. The only reason is I just want to get a better feel for it. There, we may change it. We may do all sorts of cool things to it. Just want to get a feel for how this stone ledge will look. There, not too bright, just enough so that we don't have a blank area, a big blob of dark. Nobody wants to sit there and look at a big blob of dark. So, there you go. That's worthwhile. That just took us a second. All right, well, that's all we're going to do to our little wash today. This painting's really coming along pretty well. So next time we're going to go ahead and do the highlights. So there won't be any voting for this episode, but there will be next episode. Thanks for all your support, and thanks for watching.